want to call to order our special meeting of the Board of Education on Monday, February 6, 2026. Ms. Shepherd, could you do the roll call, please?
Dookie,
Here.
Hart, here, Kaiser,
Here.
Newman,
Here.
Turner,
Here.
President De La Barre.
Here.
Thank you.
Looking through the agenda for the special board meeting, anyone has any comments, suggestions, feedback? Right? Through the agenda. Public comments. Anyone here for public comments? Fantastic. Public comment is now closed. All right, moving to item number 3, presentation of buildings, the triennial update of secondary schools. Ms. Sibley.
Good evening. So I'm very pleased to begin our second set of triennial updates. We have our secondary leaders who are here to present. Just as a friendly reminder, I have asked them to really focus their time with you today for answering questions, so they are prepared to provide a high-level executive summary, but spend the bulk of their time in front of you answering questions. And we'll begin this evening with Julie Patterson for University High School.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good
evening.
So I am going to focus most of my remarks today on the 2 areas of the strategic plan that really relate to the individual buildings, that is engaged and empowered students and aligned instructional vision. So for engaged and empowered students, one of our areas of focus, annually reduced chronic absenteeism. So last year, our current status, 64% of students with 10 or more absences, 39% with 20 or more absences. So it is absolutely an area of need for improvement for us. We have so far this year, the data is looking better. So last year, as of January 13th last year, we were at 51% of students considered chronically absent. As of January 13th this year, that had dropped down to 43% of students. So we are seeing some movement in the right direction in that area.
Julie, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Could you pause just for a second? We're having a technical difficulty.
Okay.
You got to disconnect from there because it's displaying here, but not there. The bottom of the-
It might be the internet connection. There it
Okay,
is.
here we
Okay.
go. Sorry about that.
And Principal Patterson, tell me where we are, what slide?
Okay, keep going.
Align.
Okay, yep, this is the one, and you can actually go to one more slide after this. Just to talk about some of the opportunities that are out there. We're looking at some different ways to help parents with transportation, some creative ways. So that's an area that we have been exploring. And then we're also just really working on the student engagement piece, encouraging teachers to enhance communication, collaboration, and movement, which were 3 things that our students really lifted up as areas that were important to them, to increase that engagement in the classroom, that sense of community, and then increase attendance as a result. So like I said before, when asked, families often cite transportation or their work schedules as being some barriers to getting students to school. So those are areas that we're trying to look for creative solutions. We've also been expanding attendance incentives. We do extra cords at graduation, extra graduation tickets, attendance breakfasts to reward students, and attendance raffles. For engaged and empowered students, on the next slide, Next area of focus was reducing number of out-of-school suspensions. I feel like this is kind of a relative strength for us. Our suspension rate is fairly low. Last year we had 31 male students and 38 female students suspended. We generally try to keep suspensions only to severe issues, things that present a safety concern. We generally do not suspend for lower level issues. This year, that number is even lower. We were at 26 out of school suspensions so far this year total. We did try this year. We've been looking at vaping prevention. One of the things that we read was doing some vaping prevention with students is shown to be one of the more effective things versus out of school punishments, things like that. So if our students are caught vaping, they do serve a half a day in school suspension, but that is for the purpose of doing some vaping education modules. So that is, the in schools are a little bit higher this year as a result, but we have seen some effectiveness with that. There do seem to be fewer incidents this year. Moving on to the next slide, talks about dual enrollment. We have 19 students in fall semester that were enrolled in dual enrollment. And that actually represents about a 300% increase over the year before. What we did last spring, was we had the current ACE students go around to our CPC classes to talk about the ACE program. And we found that to be very successful with increasing awareness. The students listen to other students, sometimes more than an adult coming in and droning on. So we were able to increase enrollment there, and we are looking to continue to increase enrollment. Additionally, we have the U of M Dearborn program that kicked off the ground this year. So we had 5 students enroll in that this winter semester. And then we are looking at some opportunities with OCC outside of the ACE program to do some dual enrollment programming as well for next year. The next slides, if you move on to AP, we really have been pushing dual enrollment over AP. And the reason for that is the dual enrollment, they are guaranteed to get that college credit as long as they pass the class. With the AP test, they could take the AP class, get an A, do really well, and still not pass that AP test and not get the college credit. So we offer AP through CASA. So we do have some students who opt to go to CASA instead of doing an ACE or a dual enrollment. But currently that is one student who is at CASA in terms of AP. We have some other students who are at CASA as well, but those are for advanced arts programming. Moving on to increasing the percentage of students that report that they feel that they belong. So in our spring assessment last spring, we were up to 44% of students who report that they strongly belong or feel like they belong or strongly belong. So that is an increase over time. So in 2024, that was at 30%. Then we jumped up to 38%. Now we are at 44%. So we are seeing improvement there. That number also jumps to 80% when you consider that middle number, that somewhat number. We also see an increase grade over grade. So 38% of ninth graders jumps to 54% by the time they're in 11th grade, which makes sense for a place like UHS where everybody comes in ninth grade not knowing anybody. Some things that we're doing to improve that, we do some stuff programming during the school day to try to increase that sense of belonging. One of the highlights of that is our Eagle activity time that we do. It's like special interests. It happens every 3 weeks or so, where students can go meet with like-minded peers to do things like anime or learning to crochet, things like that to help them connect in other ways. Moving on then to aligned instructional vision. So our SAT benchmark scores are low. 16% hit the benchmark in reading and 1% in math. Our biggest issue is our students come to us very low. So when we look at iReady data, our ninth graders last year came to us in math at a 3rd grade level and in reading at a 4th grade level. So we saw a lot of growth on the iReady. We had 80% of students exceed 1 year of growth in math and 84% exceed 1 year of growth in reading for our ninth graders. And then 69% of 10th graders in math and 76% in reading. So we're seeing a lot of growth. The average growth for ninth grade was 3 grade levels in math, or I'm sorry, in reading, and then 2.5 grade levels in math. And then for 10th graders, it was 2.8 grade levels in reading and 2.3 grade levels in math. So we are seeing a lot of growth on the iReady. We're just not seeing yet that translate to hitting the SAT benchmarks. And a lot of that has to do with the distance that so many of our students have to go. But we are doing some things, looking at some opportunities. One of those is looking at the scope and sequence of our math courses, really to make sure that those standards that are tested on the SAT, that we are covering them prior to the SAT. So that is one of the big areas that we are going to be looking at. We're also looking for reading at enhanced opportunities, just making sure across subject areas that students have abundant reading opportunities. And then also making sure that we're doing some really like specific vocabulary building with students across content areas. So those are some of the things that we're looking at. We also are developing a cross-curricular course for our sophomores that we're really excited about, that I think you'll be hearing about soon. And I think that will increase engagement, increase opportunities that are relevant to students, because we know how much that relevance piece really matters to students and their work and their level of engagement. So do you have, those were kind of the ones I wanted to focus on, as the other ones are all kind of district-wide numbers. So what questions can I answer for you?
I had a question about the suspensions. I saw that it was 31 male students, 38 female students.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the number of students or the number of incidents?
That's the number of students.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the number of incidents is probably higher?
Number of incidents is usually lower because, for example, this fall we had one incident that, when it was all said and done, about 8 students were involved.
I see.
So
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
To kind of pick up on that, you said this year that there were only 26. Do you know which ones are male and which ones are female of that 26?
I did not break it down by that. I can know kind of off the top of my head, because I know that our 2 biggest incidents were involving males this year, which is unusual for us.
Okay.
We can get that specific.
Yeah, we
breakdown
can get that for sure. Questions I can answer?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Derek Adams for TCEC.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here to talk to you about TCEC, and I was going to highlight the areas of engaged and empower students and aligned instructional vision, an area of success and an area of growth. So just to explain to everybody, I like to, this is my first year at TCEC, so I'm learning new things about the building all the time. Great opportunity to talk about it. We have 2 main programs. We have about 350 what we call participants. Those are our adults from our adult education, including one 80-year-old grandmother who takes meticulous handwritten notes on every assignment and won't take any shortcuts. So we run all the way from 22-year-olds all the way up to that 80-year-old. In regards to our alternative education, we have about 367 what we call pupils. So participants are the adults, pupils are our students, and their age range is 15 to 22. Of that group, that's the group that I'm going to be talking to mostly about, our high school age students and a little bit older. We have kids from all over. We have kids who are from Pontiac and Auburn Hills as well. So you can see they're not coming in every single day. We have our regular faces, kids that we see every day, and then we have our virtual students, the students that we hardly ever see, maybe once or twice a year. And I'll talk about that a little bit in our opportunities for growth. Also, most of our students transfer into us. We have very, very few students who start out as 9th graders at TCEC. Most of them are transfers or students who've had academic or behavioral issues somewhere else. So they're coming to us with those negative school experiences for the most part, not all. So they're missing connections. So in regards to engage and empower students, that's something we really looked at this year, is making sure that there's a sense of community, that we're bringing students together. I have a couple pictures, I think a couple slides later on, of one of our events that we put on. We've been trying to put on an event a month for our students to have time to get together. We have fun Fridays. The pictures that I have are from our holiday meal, where our teachers, probably about another three. Yep. There we go, right there. Where our and one more, yep. Where our teachers, our staff members were serving food for our students. Chartwells was able to cater that event for us. So that really brought in a sense of pride, a sense of togetherness. We also hosted our first online assembly for our virtual students. They were able to connect in with a Google Meet. So again, as you can see, that's the percentage right there, where they're trying to get a sense of belonging. So that is an area of positivity for our school. I'm going to move on to aligned instructional vision. This is definitely an area for growth for us. As you can see, our test scores are not where we want them to be. Again, I will say that our students are coming to us with negative school experiences, and for a lot of them, they don't see a reason to come in to take the iReady test. So that is a struggle for us. This year was the first year where we turned off their Edgenuity accounts until they came in and took it. Obviously, we gave them a lot of forewarning about that. If they had a district laptop, they were able to take it at home within the window of time. But if they did not have a district device, they were having to come in. So that was an issue. That is something that we open back up. We don't keep it off forever, so we don't get 100% participation on our iReady tests. Speaking of the bottom two scores there, where you see the asterisks, again, since we don't have a lot of ninth graders starting, we don't have cohort data. This year we had 4 ninth graders. From our last year's group, so our current 10th graders, only 2 were with us last year. So we don't really have that data to really show individualized, and it would start naming those students if we did. But that is an area of growth. Last year, as part of my job, I was over at TCEC to monitor the assessment, the SAT. That is an area of issue as well, because our kids can't normally get to us on a regular day because, again, the distances that they travel. So on this one day for the SAT, they're not coming in for that either. So our participation rate is low, as well as our scores there. So again, that is an area of growth that we're aware of, and that is something that we're definitely looking at improving over the years. Any questions?
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we have Ferndale High School. Michael Griffin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm going to jump right in, and I think I will go on ahead and jump over to engage and empower students as well, and discuss and highlight some of the things from that area. So the first measure of success is the absences. And so our current status is at 60%. That is our baseline data. It's definitely a celebration to show that we've definitely decreased those numbers. So currently right now, at our last check, we're at 15.2% who are at the 10 or more, and then 6.32 who are at the 20 or more. And we definitely want to say that these early gains reflect the impact of some of our targeted interventions. You can go to the next page, which pretty much consists of this year, we implemented an early intervention model. So per grade level, we have pretty much, I would say, champions per grade level who are dedicated to working with a specific group of students. So we have leveraged the resources of our community programs. So we have our restorative practice coaches that have a grade level. Mr. Gregg has a grade level as he works specifically with the seniors because he also works with those of them that need to kind of hurry up and catch up on that credit. And so he works specifically with those seniors. And then we have our Ferndale Youth Assistant, or our community in schools, who has a grade level as well. They're reaching out to those students early on. We have a strong system of first the teachers make contact with the parents, then the counselors make a contact, and then it automatically goes into their early interventions. And so they're reaching out, they're having meetings with those students, just identifying the root causes and providing supports. And of course, our community partners are helping them to eliminate any barriers that are preventing them from attending school. So the opportunities or areas for growth with that is just incentivizing perfect attendance and positive growth. We want to begin to host semester celebrations, recognizing students. We have already begun to recognize them at grade level meetings, and then strengthening collaboration with district community partners. This one here, yes, we'll speak to the suspension data. So this is definitely an area for celebration. This baseline data reports out as 16 male students and 7 female students. The suspension rates are below baseline at this point of the year. And we definitely believe that this improvement reflects the implementation of our in-school suspensions. We have implemented that system at our building, and students are, kind of like what Julie spoke to, depending on what do they need to be outside, right? Everything doesn't warrant them being outside of school. And we found that when they're there, they're focused, they're working on their work, and most of them don't want to come back and be up under Casey and myself all day. And so they're making those changes to not have to come back. But it has been really, really impactful for that we've implemented the in-school suspension. This just continues to speak to, how we have managed to bring these numbers down. Again, we're utilizing our restorative practice systems and our available resources. So, everything does not necessarily result, again, in an out-of-school suspension. And a lot of that is being proactive. We also, additionally, we have those grade level meetings. We're going over expectations. We are having those RP coaches bring smaller groups of kids in. They're meeting with students one-on-one. Those, I guess, the behaviors that are persistent that lead to the conflicts, they're being proactive and getting ahead of those behaviors so that we don't have to result in suspensions. Just intentionally talking to the kids, asking how they're doing, recognizing them for soaring, and then just affirming that they are valued and that they're cared for. Another thing I want to speak to on that slide is through our MTSS system. We've definitely gotten the MTSS system up and running, and so we have developed our SST team to be able to recognize champions for students. And so we're actually doing that. We're pulling kids through the SST process, trying to identify, making sure that all of our resources are being used properly. We have a plethora of resources, and we want to make sure that kids are not abusing. We sometimes find kids are going over here to the RP coach, then they're talking to a counselor, then they're talking to a support, a social worker. And so making sure that the resources are being streamlined, and then for the kids who kind of keep them showing up in conversations, hooking them up with a champion to make sure that someone's checking on them all the time.
Pause 1 second for me, Principal Griffin. I just wanted to do an acronym check and make
you.
sure everybody was
So
good. Everybody, we like acronyms.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Are you guys
Student
okay with
success
those?
team,
Student success team.
multi-tiered system of support, and SOAR. That's the like the champs, like our behavior matrix kind of a situation. So
Yeah, everybody's okay.
we like acronyms.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Good catch. We can go back in.
Yeah, it's the Wi-Fi.
Figuring it out.
The
Okay.
Wi-Fi keeps kicking us out. So
I think the only other thing that we wanted to address or bring out from this is I wanted to, let me see if I can just get it on here. We can, an area of growth is definitely our aligned instructional vision. We're not performing where we should be. Performing pretty low on our benchmarks as well as our SAT. We have identified strategies and put some things in place where we are working to increase proficiency in ELA and math, and we are leveraging we're working to build a culture of data relevance. What I found is that I think and I've had the conversations with teachers about sometimes, I think we all use that data driven, right? You've heard it in interviews, right? Teachers say it in interviews. I've said it in an interview. Oh, we data driven, right? And so are we really being data driven? We are really learning to walk the walk and not talk the talk. So we are having intentional sessions, looking at the data, but not just looking at it, revisiting, talking about interventions. I also interviewed or surveyed staff on what are their beliefs toward data and what are their beliefs toward kind of that combination of SEL, there's another acronym, right? Social emotional learning and the impact that it has on students' academic achievement. And so really trying to have teachers reflect and understand that the two go hand in hand. And if they I believe in whole child, and you may have heard me say before that I believe you got to Maslow before you bloom, right? More teacher jargon, but meet those Maslow's hierarchy of needs before you could reach Bloom's taxonomy. And so teachers getting them to understand we do have to actually pretty much meet the kids where they are and provide them with that SEL so they can grow academically. And then again, changing their beliefs on are we really doing what we say we're doing with the data? And we aren't doing it if we're not revisiting the data, if we're only like having these data digs. But we definitely, our monthly staff meetings, we're going in, we're looking, we're talking about the interventions and we're monitoring the interventions. And I think that's making the respect for data grow in our building. I think those are the main ones that we wanted to highlight. Unless you all have questions for me, that's just the aligned vision. What are some of the things that we're doing to address the MSTEP or more so SAT? Doing the data digs, or you call it drilling down, more jargon. You take something and you drill down and figure out what does this data really mean, right? We found that our kids struggle with informational text. So as an intervention across every curriculum, we are utilizing our resources of Newsella, which is a resource where they go in and they can get informational text in any area of content, math, ELA, social studies, science. The great thing about those Newsella articles is they can be tiered to different levels of skill levels, right? So we can deliver the same message to different kids, and one might be at a 9th grade reading level and one might be at a 7th grade reading level, but it's the same article, right? And so as a building-wide intervention, all teachers are implementing the use of these Newsella informational texts so that we found our kids, not just our kids, many kids find reading longer passages daunting. And so if they're not reading passages on a regular basis, when they go to take these assessments, it's going to be hard for them. Our kids text talk, and they do everything shorthand. And if you think I'm using the acronyms, imagine what they do. And so we're putting this in making them comfortable with reading these longer texts so that when they see them, it won't be such a daunting path or task for them. We also have restructured our Eagle time to focus directly on, you don't want to say teaching to the test, but at the same time preparing them and exposing them to what they'll see on the test and utilizing IXL, which is pretty much paired with iReady. So that is the intervention that we're making in terms of math and ELA. Now, do you have any questions?
Thanks. Questions for Principal Griffin?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, Ferndale Middle School, Principal Bruner.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So before I get started, does anybody know what the acronym for Ferndale Middle School is? Let me ask you, because that's going to entail what I'm going to talk about this evening.
I know.
Wait, let me ask the president. There you go.
It's great.
Great, there you go. Growth, resilience, integrity, and tenacity. And so if you're a follower of Detroit Lions, you know that that's something that Dan Campbell believes firmly in, and I believe in Dan Campbell. I believe in the Lions. So punishment or not, with that being said, it is something that we live true by. Everything we do at Ferndale Middle School is built on building a strong culture. Our hiring, not just our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our custodians, our secretaries, whoever entails must align with our vision, and we all, our security guards must align with our vision. So I'm very fortunate to have a team that understands what grit means, and they're all in together, right? So the data, I did my data a little different. It's the slides just like everybody else, so you just have to go through the slides. If you got specific questions, I'll explain some of it, but I'm not going to go to slide this slide. I'll explain some things that we're doing. If you want to ask questions, I can answer those for you. So this update reflects who we are as FMS. We're honest about our data, committed to our students, and confident in our plan. We follow data wherever it leads, just like it says in the strategic plan, as a flashlight, not a hammer, to drive growth and improvement in all areas. We're seeing measurable progress in areas like reduced suspensions by close to 20% at this time of the school year as compared to last school year. Increased student belonging, which in fall data was at, it was 55%, now it's up to 69%. We've identified the students that say they don't have a strong sense of belonging. We're, like we said, we identified those students through our SST process, and we're going to work with those students to help them understand what belonging is and offer that extra support as well. In our trusted adult, we had 55% of our students in the fall data that said they had a trusted adult. We just completed our midwinter, and 88% of our students said that they had a trusted adult. One of the things that we have to do with our students is explain what this means. And so what we did with the winter data, for example, was we put all the staff members on a form and said, who do you trust? Is there someone on this list? And the students could choose up to 3. The data we got back was that wasn't enough. It was more students. So now that they see it visually and they can see, like, they know it's people they feel like they can relate to and they can talk to. In our early ELA midwinter iReady assessment data, I'm proud to report 6th and 8th grade are both showing high level, high growth. And even our 7th grade is crossing over to high level, high growth at the midwinter break in reading. We got work to do in math. Math is not over yet, so I'm still waiting for that data to come in. But we do see the needs, and we are sticking with our plan to grow, continue to grow. At the same time, data clearly identifies area where more work is needed, particularly around equity and academic outcomes. This balance of celebration and urgency keeps us focused and grounded. What are we going to do about it? We strengthen instructional practice through small group instruction and the workshop model in ELA and math. A lot of times teachers think that that's an elementary thing, but no, we meet kids where that means differentiated instruction. Somebody got some water, some water. Differentiated instruction, and that carries on all through, as far as I'm concerned, it goes through college. We structure ego time, like the high school said, interventions to support self-efficacy thinking. Behavior and belonging. We structured it to meet the needs, not only in math and ELA, but SEL as well. We already see good data in our SEL as we continue to see progress in student self-efficacy, self-management. Through SST and support team process, students are intentionally matched with adults and resources to ensure no one falls through the cracks. So if you're aware, we've been supplied very well, which we appreciate through the district, with a restorative practice coach, restorative practice facilitator. We have 2 counselors. We have a mental health specialist, and we also have a social worker. So we are a very team-oriented student success team, so very appreciative of those resources. Professional learning is increased, staff-driven, relevant, and aligned to student needs. So one of the things in professional development was like 55% of staff saw professional development as relevant. And so what we decided to do is, because they work well as a team, is create a professional development committee. And so it's important for not only what the district needs of us, but to have that voice from the staff as well. And so with a combination of us working with professional, with teaching and learning, to have the same mind, same vision, and hopefully we'll make sure we got the same course and the same structure as far as building our professional development, we can see the change. We believe in our staff, our students, and our plan. This is grit the FMS way. Growth through reflection, resilience through challenge, integrity in our decision, and tenacity in staying the course. Our commitment is clear for every student, every parent, every staff member. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions for Principal Ritter? Excellent, thank you.
Make this too easy.
Right. Home run. Thank you all.
Before we close out, any just general questions, comments, feedback, discussion, or group, administrative?
I just want to say that I appreciate that you're using data to inform the decisions. And I appreciate you telling us how you're pivoting based on the data that you're finding and the results that you're seeing. So thank you for your leadership.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positive stuff. Maybe I'll sugarcoat it. I mean, there's things that we need to work on, and it's pretty much the same thing across the board. But I think just being able to like this presentation compared to the last presentation where it was like apples, oranges, and nuts that we were sort of seeing versus like we're getting close to being able to see these things is really, really helpful. So appreciate everybody's commitment to the database as well.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. We are on to item 4 of the consent agenda. There are 5 items on the consent agenda. Item 1, request to approve minutes of the special meeting Monday, December 1st, 2025. Item 2, request to approve minutes of the special meeting Committee of the Whole Monday, December 1st, 2025. Item 3, request to approve minutes of the regular meeting Monday, December 15th, 2025. Item 4, request to approve new hires, resignations, and transfers. And item 5, request to approve bills and accounts December 2025. Can I get a motion to pass the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Jessica, seconded by Jonathan. Any discussion? All right, roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
President.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent. Moving on to item 5, action items. First action items, request to approve UAW collective bargaining agreement. Superintendent Hibbler.
Good evening again. So we are very excited to present this for vote this evening. I'm going to ask Mr. Shelton to come up. But before he does, I want to thank him for Ms. Bird, Ms. Schmidt, for being a part of the negotiations team. Lots of hours, lots of work, and just thank you so much. I'm so glad that we're here this evening. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Hibbler. Thank you also, board members. We started negotiating this contract in mid-November and had what I would characterize as a very positive negotiations process with our UAW group. Great teams on both sides. Thank you, Ms. Hagen, and the audience was part of the UAW team in our negotiations. And we feel very strongly that the tentative agreement that we came to is a very fair one for employees and also in the best interest of the district. So I prepared both an executive summary as well as the finer details of the contract. This was ratified by the UAW 2 weeks ago, correct? It was supposed to be for last Monday's board meeting, so it was the Thursday before that. And I believe 94% of the UAW membership voted to ratify this contract. So it's a good deal and a fair deal. And I can answer, as you look through the specifics, I can answer any questions anybody has. But I'm pleased to present this contract for approval to the Board of Education this evening.
What's up? Any questions for Tom? All right, on that, entertain a motion to approve the UAW collective bargaining agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Jackie, seconded by Sandra. Any discussion?
Thank you for
Thank
all
you.
the hard
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tom, appreciate
Quite a few to go.
appreciate you. Appreciate everybody from the UAW side as well.
Yes.
I mean, this is a
Yes.
group of folks that are so critical to our school district and don't always sort of see everybody sees all of them. So really appreciate everything they do and being a part of this. So that we can get going. All right, Ms. Shepherd, entertain a vote.
Hart,
Yes.
Kaiser.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Dookie.
Yes.
President De La Barre.
Yes. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you so much.
All right, item 2, request to approve the resolution for budget amendment number 1.
The budget amendment 1 was presented at the January Committee of the Whole. It was presented and discussed at the January Committee of the Whole, so we are asking the board to approve budget amendment 1.
Any questions? All right, entertain a motion to approve the resolution for budget amendment number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Lisa, seconded by Jonathan. Any discussion?
Thank you, Dawn.
Yeah, thank you. And it's just good to see that, fund balance is still moderately healthy.
Yeah.
So 19%.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Kaiser.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Dookie.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
President De La Barre.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, final action item of the evening, request to approve the recommendation for construction manager for the 2025 bonds. Deputy Superintendent.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So this item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole in January. The district conducted a competitive bid for construction management services, in which 4 companies actually submitted a bid. The district is making a recommendation to continue its relationship with Park Construction, which serves as the construction manager on the 2020 bond as well. We thought it was very important for the district to retain continuity of services and also take advantage of all the institutional knowledge that the contractor, the Clark Construction, has gained being in the district for the last 5 years. We thought the pricing was competitive, and we're really looking forward to continuing the relationship.
Excellent. Any
If
questions?
approved. If approved.
All right, entertain a motion to approve the recommendation for construction manager for the 2025 bonds.
I'll move.
Second?
Any discussion? Oh, sorry. Moved by Jonathan, seconded by Jessica. Any discussion? Yeah.
Clark Construction, my name is Jim Kaiser, Senior Project Manager of Clark Construction. I simply want to say that we are honored, humbled to be recommended to consider pleasure. So, immensely enjoyed this and entire people in the district. So thank you very much for your continued.
Yes.
Mr. Kaiser.
So we got a motion by Jonathan, seconded by Jessica. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Newman.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Dookie.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Kaiser.
Yes.
President De La Barre.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item 6, superintendent's update.
Good evening. Before I begin, I know that it is the very beginning of February, but I do want to thank the board and give honor and recognition for School Board Appreciation. We did not have our January board meeting in January, but I just want to start by thanking the board for all of your service. We are much appreciated. I don't know if we have all the words, but I just wanted to begin my update with saying thank you. So, you can come out of that one. I'm actually just going to discuss a Head Start. So there were some questions the board had from the last, the Committee of the Whole. There were some specific questions about the amount of resident 3-year-olds currently in our Head Start program. So you can see here a thread directly from Director Schmidt, where she says that of the 29 Head Start students, 7 that are age eligible for GSRP were 4. So 22 of the 29 GSRP students were 3 years old. 12, which is about 41% of our current Head Start students, are Ferndale District residents. So I did want to make sure that that part in particular was very clear. I know that that was a main question of the board. as we solicit guidance on how we will proceed with Head Start or without. So I'm going to pause just to determine if the board has any other questions that I can answer regarding Head Start.
If we were to enter in an agreement, can it be short term? Like, what are the guidelines? Like,
Yeah.
if we decide this isn't for us.
My understanding, that's a great question. My understanding that it is annual.
Okay.
So from what I understand, you could do it for a year and then say no, thank you. I will just, I want to say this well. My experience with OSHA is that sometimes things change and we do not have enough time to get ahead of the decisions. And with Head Start being a federally funded program, I'm just gonna, I think, fill in the gap there. There's just major concerns with the programming all around. And OSHA just has not made us feel any more confident. So I kind of gave you more than what you asked for, but
Appreciate it.
Would these, I know you wouldn't have that tonight. GSRP has a strong beginnings program that's for 3-year-olds. Is it possible for us to get 15 slots for next year as a pilot strong beginnings program? And looking at these 12 kids, using them as a sample size, would they qualify for strong beginnings? Like, could we pilot a strong beginnings and get out of the Head Start business altogether?
I would love that. I would love that. I'm happy to work with Director Schmidt and research that. I will just name that we intentionally pushed back the FECC open house for this reason. So we will move pretty swiftly, but I think it's a great idea. Great idea. So my next update will have that answer. Got it. Strong beginnings is what it is. I kept calling it early GSRP.
When is the FECC open house?
It is the final Wednesday in February, so when we get back from break, so gives us enough time. Of course, when the parents come to those, we want to be able to give them as much as we can. But I also will name that last year we did have an open house and we had some fluctuating tuition rates. So there have been times where we've been able to, we'll give them as much information as possible.
Do you feel like you have enough direction and feedback on this?
I think so now. I do.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, cool. Item 7, informational items to actual reports.
Hello again.
Hello.
This is the budget to actual for December 31st, 2025. We're rolling along. There's not too much variance going on from last year. We do have less federal revenue, and that's because our grant funds were not available, but are now available. Most of them are all available now, so we should see some money rolling in here in February. And then our transportation expenses have been a little higher this year. Bought new cameras for the new buses, and there's been some more just repairs and whatnot needed. But other than that, too much. Any questions?
Amazing how close you can stay to the previous year. If I could come closest on my budget, so I would be tired. All right, excellent. You know.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, we have no pulled consent agenda items, so we don't have to worry about item 8. Item 9, the next committee of the whole will be Monday, February 2nd, 2026, 7:30 p.m. Groundhog's Day. Take it how you will. Item 10, next regular board meeting will be Monday, February 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. That is the third, what's it, second night? It's the fourth Monday due to midwinter break, so just as a reminder. Okay, item 11, Eagle Points of Pride comments. We're in an extra week.
I'll do mine. Mine is a little bit backdated, but January 24th was National Day of Education. So I just want to take the time to just give a shout out to every single person that has to work with Ferndale schools, from the superintendent to the board members, all the way down to our bus drivers. Just thank you, everyone, for all you do in educating our students and building a brighter future.
I'll go next. January is Board Member Recognition Month, and I just want to publicly recognize and appreciate all of you for joining us at this table. I don't think you all make it easy to come sit at this table and do this work, so thank you.
I'll go next. I want to give some love to Deputy Superintendent Wright. We just went through some deep freezing in this great state of ours, and there were closings and not closings all over the state. People, students and teachers alike, watching the closing list very closely. Deputy Superintendent Wright sent out a really proactive message to the district that I really appreciated. From like my perspective as an educator, it was like I said, really proactive. Hey teachers, here are some things that you're going to see. Here are some things that we're going to do as a district, and here are ways that you could partner with us and be flexible and, just prepare and like help us. I just really appreciated that as a heads up to staff and like expressing gratitude to staff. I just really feel like you hold this district down in great ways. And I learned today that if you're having trouble at home as a board member, Deputy Superintendent Wright can also help you with like your other things that are going on at home. She'll give you some pro tips on how to deal with contractors. So like, she is every woman. So thank you for all you do.
I'll go next. Speaking of amazing communication, I also want to say thank you to all the folks I've been so lucky to serve with. So thank you for you all. But also, I really appreciated Camille and Superintendent Hiller, the note that you sent to our community in these troubling times. It was, I'm going to get emotional. It was really lovely to see. And I know that I spoke with other community members who felt the same way. So thank you for your kind, proactive, wonderful communication. Thank you.
Sandra stole mine. Again, as Jessica said, it's been an honor to serve with all of you over the past, few months, and being in this seat the longest, seeing the transition of the board. It's just really warms my heart to know that we're all here for the same reason, for the betterment of our students and our district. And I, as a mother of two graduates, it just warms my heart. And a shout out to our graduates and to alumni members on our board, that when you look back and you see what they've done and what they're doing in the world, it's a good feeling to know that we had an impact sitting here in these seats.
Next. Okay. I want to thank you for that. But obviously, I don't do that alone, right? So I have to give a shout out to the complete operations team. That's including food service, transportation, maintenance, custodial, right? It's been a rough winter. And all of us are like, when is this going to be over? Like, what is happening? The really, really early mornings, getting out to push and salt. Our vendors have really been great and really flexible with us. They are a tremendous group of people to work with. I say that to their faces all the time. And I'm telling you this here, obviously, we really work well as a team, and I absolutely adore them. They're hardworking people, and they're really committed to this district.
Okay, I'm gonna
say it really fast so you won't notice that I'm about to do two. I want to go back a few weeks and just give a huge shout out Ferndale High School's pinning ceremony was lovely. It was just the excitement in the room. We have some soon to be graduates, and it was just a lovely event. And so I do want to shout out Ferndale High School for their pinning ceremony. That was back on January 12th. And then also, really quick, I had major anxiety because we had a snow day on skate night for the elementary schools. I was worried. It changed, it uprooted all of our plans. But to see the amount of families that still showed up to skate night all the way in Troy, it was just amazing to see. So that is a huge shout out to our families and to our students and to our strong elementary PTO. So just want to give a shout out to those groups.
Cool. I'm going to talk about snow as well. It's been really rough. You start just at the most top level of making the decision of whether to cancel school or not, which is a very hard decision to make. I don't think you're ever going to make a decision where everybody's like super excited. And it's just a tough part because people have different needs. And obviously making decisions in the best for the best of our kids here. And it's tough. And then the operations piece, getting everything cleared. It's a rough winter all around. Salt is low across the board. If you can find somebody you'd love to donate, please, we'll take it. And then just teachers and kids making it in. I mean, I think it's just been great. On these tough days where it's been really cold or there's been some snow on the ground, to see kids and teachers making it in. So we're not even close to out of the winter, so it's going to continue to be rough. But really just appreciate everybody being part of this and you doing what's best for our kids. All right, with that, we will adjourn this special meeting of Board of Education.